Carver should be posting his video any minute. How has grief been showing up for you? Today, we're going to be talking. How has grief been showing up for you? This week, our nation and the world at large are in a stage of how has grief been showing? Grief. It is something that many people around the world are feeling this week. We all have heard about the death of Charlie Kirk, and many have been following the story. And some of you guys are new to even finding out about him. And the more you look into him, the more you have come to love him. But he is now gone to be with the Lord, and a lot of people are grieving, and myself included. And so I want to continue this series. It's part 2 of our grief series. Last time we were talking about navigating grief, and since we're continuing on, his services were just on Sunday. I was actually able to join tens of thousands, actually hundreds of thousands of people to remember Charlie Kirk at the Farm Stadium in Arizona. It was a beautiful, magnificent, glorifying event. But that doesn't mean that I didn't leave with a certain amount of grief. And so, being that I teach about the tools on how to navigate grief, I wanted just to do a check-in today, and I wanted to go through the steps with our coaching here in Elevate Coaching. I'm glad to see everybody here today. And so in the chat, you guys can drop how we're going to do a temperature check right now. So I just want to ask the first question, which is, how is your grief showing up this week? Is it emotionally? Is it physically? Maybe it's spiritually. You're feeling attacked right now. Go ahead and just drop that in the chat. And then specifically, we talk about triggers, which I teach a lot about. And I want to know, is there anything specific that you feel has been triggering you? Now, I'm on social media a lot because I have our media company. I'm constantly producing content to put out for others, but it's impossible right now on my feed to not come across a Charlie Kirk video. And so definitely seeing all of his pop-ups are a trigger for me, but at the same time, I don't want to erase them. I don't want to stop watching them, because at the same time that it is triggering a certain amount of grief, it's also giving me such joy and a peace to know that Charlie left so much content for us to still learn and grow from. He was such a young man, but we still have so much to learn from Charlie, and we have hundreds and hundreds of hours of content. So the question for me isn't about, should I give up watching the different video reels? It's more about what to do when I come across a reel, right? And so we're going to talk about some of that process today. So the important part of what we're doing right now is we are naming the process. And when we're naming the process, it's going from this shift in our brain, okay? It's going from the amygdala, which I told you is part of the limbic system, right? And it is the fight or flight part of our brain. It's the process that happens is tell us you're in danger, you need to get out of here. And a lot of times when we're feeling grief, we just want to run, we want to escape, we don't want to be, we like want to take off our clothes, put on a new set, and hopefully, everything's going to change. And some people have said, I'm sorry, I just want to get in a car. I just want to keep driving. I just want to drive away from my problems. That is your amygdala in action. It is saying you're in danger, must escape, must get away. And so that's really common. And then also we have what's happening in our frontal cortex, and that's our thinking brain. And that is a place where, the logic and the regulation happens. And so we have one part that's not wanting, that's not dealing with logic or reasoning. It's just like run, it's taking action. The logic part of your brain is where we're going to be thinking about why am I doing why I'm doing. Like I said, we're identifying the triggers. You're making a logical assertion to what's going on in your body. And then this helps to reduce when we're using our thinking part of our brain, it'll help to reduce the emotional flood, because truly it does. It feels like an emotional flood when you're in the grief zone and everything comes. It feels like a wave of emotion comes, turns into a wave of tears, right? And I've certainly felt my wave of tears. I've had my wave of grief. I've had my wave of just it's been hard. It's been rough. And so those wave of emotions bring a wave of tears, and it really sets us in a position where if we don't get out of it, we can get stuck, right? And so that's what we're going to talk about, the grief types. Okay, so we have acute grief, and that is the flood of stress hormones. That's cortisol, that's adrenaline, that's stuff that's all on the surface. It's happening really quick. It's coming in. You saw something, you feel something. You saw something, you feel something. That is your acute stage of grief. And then we have the adaptive phase of grief, and that is the neuroplasticity. That is what's happening in your brain right now, where things are moving, things are being altered, things are being changed. This is that part where your brain is learning how to hold on to pain and then saying, okay, well, this is grief. I'm in grief now. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to see that. And every time I see that one reel, I'm going to feel pain. I'm going to hold on to it. And it's starting to learn the pattern. You see a Charlie Kirk video, you go into depression. You see a Charlie Kirk, or, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Maybe it's not Charlie Kirk, whatever it is, a son, a daughter, an aunt, an uncle, a father, somebody passed away. You see a t-shirt or a shirt, sweater, you smell a scent, you walk by, something, flowers, they love yellow flowers, whatever it is, something is a trigger, and your brain starts to process, okay, every time I see that, I feel pain. So therefore, yellow flowers equal pain. Charlie Kirk, real equals pain. It's starting to go through that neuroplasticity cycle, and it begins to wire your brain to have a certain reaction. And then we have the stuck part of grief. This is why I'm on today. This is why we're doing this video, is because I don't want you to be stuck in grief. Nobody should be stuck in grief. This is where we get into stages of depression. This is where we can't find our way out of bed. It could be the places where we can't be productive any longer. We become stuck in grief. And that is a part of our brain, which is the hippocampus. And if you guys remember, the last session I did with you guys, I had you guys draw some pictures, and I said the amygdala is your alert system. So I said draw an alarm bell for that part of your brain. And then I said for the hippocampus, I remembered the Ontario Library. If you didn't watch that one, I'll put a link to it, but go back and watch grief part 1, because I did some visuals on there for you that are going to be really important in this time of grief management. So for me, hippocampus, it's really important to make those images. So I had an image, I visualized it in my mind, and then I went online and I found different visuals of libraries. Okay. So now when I see hippocampus, like there's so many different parts of the brain. Like, how do you remember all the parts of the brain? Well, I don't know every part of the brain right now, but I'm learning. And so, as a neuro reset coach, it's my field of interest to study the brain. And so, the more you are able to put a vision or a visual tool with something that you're learning about, whether it's about the brain or whatever, the more you're going to have a stickability. Okay. So, the hippocampus, I have a library in my head. That is a place where, what do you do at a library? You go and you get books, you get media content, you get things that are all categorized, they are itemized, and they are stored in libraries. So a book gets made, they get published, they get put into a library. All those assets and resources are there. You can go pull up a computer, find out exactly what shelf, in between what books, in what section, there is a piece of content waiting for you, right? Hippocampus is the same exact way. So when we are in that area of stuck grief, that is the part of our hippocampus that is holding on, filing that pain away. So the hippocampus replays pain and it makes memories like they are present. Okay. So the replays in the mind make pain memories like they're present. I'm just going to see if anybody came in right now. All right, so we're still good. Let me see who is here. All right, Shelly. Okay. Welcome, Shelly. We are recording right now. Right now, we are in the grief reset, and we are just going through and continuing on this topic of managing and managing grief. Sorry, I'm trying to get you on. Hopefully, you can hear me. All right, so we're all good here. So let me see here. Shelly, how long have you been in here? Sorry about that.
I just got in.
You just got in. All right. I'm going to pause for 1 second, Shelly. Let's pause.